Welcome to Lighting for Profits, presented by Emery Allen, with your host, Ryan Lee, your number one source for all things landscape lighting. From lighting design, install, sales, and marketing, we discuss everything you need to know to start and grow a successful landscape lighting business.
That's right. Welcome to the number one landscape lighting show in the world, Lighting for Profits, presented by Emery Allen, here on Turf Stop Radio, your industry, your station. Oh, it feels good to be back in the homeland. The studio here, Landscape Lighting Secret Studio. Guys, we're going to have a blast today. Oh, man. Last week was a bit of a fiasco. That's putting it lightly. But super excited for today's show. I'm going to have Greg Matthews with Luxury Illumination, based out of Florida, on the show with us today. So if you've ever wondered who does those large landscape lighting jobs, you drive by and you're like, damn, that would be nice to get that job. Well, this is the guy that did that job. So super excited to have him on the show today, and hopefully we can get him to share his secrets on how he gets those big jobs. So welcome. I appreciate you guys being here. Thank you so much for your support, whether you're watching, whether you're listening, whatever you're doing. Thank you so much for being here. What's up, Paul? How you doing, buddy? And I guess, it's interesting. When I started my business, I didn't really know that I could be a business owner, right? I was just trying to make money. I was just trying to make $250,000 as fast as possible. What's up, Tom? How you doing? And it quickly became apparent that it was more than just me, right? And it really evolved into a business. And I remember hiring my first salesperson, and then another salesperson, stuff like that. And I remember feeling at one point like, hold on, what's going on here? Like, am I Dr. Phil? Because I was doing a lot of emotional coaching, and he was up and he was down and everything else. And I just thought it was like when you hired a salesperson, like your job as a manager was just to like pay him his commissions when he sold a job. But oh no, it was much more than that. And I was like starting to read like therapy books and psychology books on like how to help people. And it's like, you know what, if I can't even help myself, I mean, I have a hard time communicating with my wife. How am I going to help somebody else? Right. And the reason I bring this up is yesterday, I got a text from someone who said, can you please give me a call? I need you to help save my marriage. And I was like, oh, great. Oh, Dr. Phil 2.0, here we go. And I listen, I didn't realize I was going to start this coaching program and I was going to become a marriage therapist. I didn't know that, but here I am saving marriages, I guess, one marriage at a time. I'm not sure, but I got a text and I actually called him and talked to him and stuff. And really what it comes down to is, his wife is they work together and she's getting tired of working in the business. Imagine that, getting tired of working in the business after all these years and still not feeling like you're progressing. And honestly, when I thought about it, at first I kind of chuckled like, okay, I'm a marriage saver or whatever. But honestly, I'm here to save marriages. I'm here to save lives because that's how important this is to work on your business, guys. Like, I know I went through a lot of marriage counseling when I was trying to run my business inefficiently. Okay. I promise you, it was not an easy road. And it's something that doesn't get talked about a lot because we tend to hide our weaknesses and stuff like that. But yeah, I mean, when you're working that many hours and when you're doing that many things and your mind is not focused on your family, but on your business, it can cause problems. It can seriously cause problems. And I went through that personally. Okay. And your personal relationships suffer with your friends, your family, could be your spouse, your kids. And so it's super, super important to work on your business and get it to the point where it doesn't require you to be working in your business 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 80 hours a week, right? So yes, it's official. I am an unlicensed marriage therapist. So yes, landscape lighting secrets can save your marriage. I believe. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. I'll keep you updated on this one. But last week, guys, last week was nuts. I don't know if you tuned in live or not, but I did my first international show. I decided, you know what, I'm going to be out of town. I'm going to be in Switzerland, but what the heck? Let's just go ahead and do this thing live from Switzerland. And I messed up the times. It was 11 o'clock my time that I was doing the show, and it ended up being a major. Oh man, it was just it was a shit show. Okay, it was a problem. And I thought I kind of had it figured out, but no, it was not good. And definitely an epic fail on the audio and whatnot. And I don't know, guys, it was bad, but I felt bad because there was such good content. We were talking about working on your business and going from operator to owner, and some of the steps that are required and the sacrifices and stuff like that. And it was unfortunate because the audio just wasn't quite there. The quality was not that good. And anyway, if you were there, I appreciate it, because we were talking about, working on your business. And here's the thing, guys, the difference between those that succeed, and I'm talking really succeed, like really get their business to the next level, so it doesn't require them to be in the business on a daily basis. The difference is not much. Okay, it's not intelligence. Okay, I'm no smarter than the next guy. There's guys in my coaching program that are way smarter than me. They're way better lighting designers than me. They're way better lighting installers than me. They've got some really good attributes to them. But my analogy goes back to like Michael Jordan. Like, can you imagine being Michael Jordan's coach? You're not going to teach that guy much about basketball, in my opinion. Like, he was the best player ever, but he still needs a coach because he needs an outside perspective. He needs someone to think about things from a different perspective, right? And so that's really what I really want to emphasize as we begin today's episode is working on your business isn't just about being smart or anything like that. It's really just about executing. Okay. And I've noticed that the guys in my coaching program that are really leveling up and getting traction are the guys that are willing to implement what they learn. And it's one thing to just like read a book or watch a video or talk to someone and just like hear it, and another thing to really listen, and when you listen, to apply those things. And so that's really why I feel like I was able to get traction in businesses. I mean, I asked everybody for advice, and I just started applying. I just started trying it out. And there's certain things that I was like, that's not going to work, but I still tried it. Right. And it's okay to have these, doubts, but it's another thing to just trust someone and just execute on what they say. Right. So, implementing is seriously one of the hardest things about being an entrepreneur, I think, because we kind of already know what we need to do. Like, we know that we need to replace ourselves. We know we need to hire this person, and we know we need to do this. But what happens is we end up just putting out fires, right? We end up just solving the problem that's right in front of us, and it feels good. We think we're doing the right thing. We're solving problems. That's what we're supposed to do. But in reality, it's the exact opposite thing we're doing that we should be doing, because we keep getting pulled into the one thing that's keeping us from working on our business, right? So, guys, I can't stress this to you enough. You have to find time to work on your business. The easiest way to do it is to schedule time. Okay. It's got to be a minimum 2 hours a week. If you can do 4, if you can do 5, 10, whatever it is, but you've got to start somewhere. Even if you only have an hour every week. One of the guys in my coaching program asked me several weeks ago, what do you mean work on your business? And here's what I mean. What is the, for all of us, it's different, right? But what is the biggest obstacle right now that's holding you back to get to the next level? Answer that question. And it's usually one of these things. It's usually that we need to hire someone to answer the phones. It's usually we need to be more organized. It's usually that we need to hire more installers, maybe a salesperson. It usually comes around that event. And I asked him, what is the one thing? And he's like, well, I need someone to answer the phones. So if you're going to work on your business and you're going to say, okay, every Wednesday from 3 to 5, I'm not going to answer my phone. I'm going to lock myself in a room, my truck, empty parking lot, whatever it is, where no one can distract you. then the first week is just to work on your business, is to figure out, okay, who that person is. What do they look like? What attributes do they need? What does that position entail? And write this stuff down. Don't just think about it. Don't just save it in your head, because if you do that, then your session's going to end, and then you're going to get pulled in all these directions and nothing's going to happen. So write these things down, identify exactly what it is, write down the job description. What are they going to do on a daily basis, a weekly basis, monthly, annually? And then what you need to do is the next week is actually start executing on those things. So make a list. Here's first thing I got to do is this, second thing, and don't move on from the first thing until you've done it, right? Don't look at second, third, fourth, fifth thing and start working on those things. Just do one thing at a time, break it into chunks and do these things. And I promise you guys, it's not a flip of a switch. It's not going to be, next Wednesday, you've solved the world's problems and you've eliminated yourself in the business and it's over. But week after week, month after month, before you know it, even just 6 months will go by and you're like, holy cow, I actually feel like I did something, right? And if you don't, another 6 months, 1 year, 5 years is going to go by and you're going to be in the exact same spot as you are now, which is usually, if you're listening to this, like you're a hustler, you figured it out, you know how to make money, but you're still trying to figure out how to get to that point where you can replace yourself in the business. So, the point is not just to make money. The point is to build an actual business that can run without you in the day-to-day. So my advice today is stop putting out fires and start putting in strategies that prevent the fires from starting in the first place. I talked to a guy, I think it was might have been yesterday, Friday. I can't remember, but I always ask people like what their biggest obstacle is, what are they struggling with. And he was like, I just don't feel like I'm an entrepreneur. Like, and he's got a pretty good business. Like he's grown his sales by a minimum. It's like 100 grand every single year. 1 year he's grown it by 200 grand. So he's making good money, but he still feels like an employee to the business, because he doesn't really have a business. He's got a really good paying job. Right. So, he's decided that, what? No, it's time to take this serious. It's time to get to the next level. It's time to replace myself. So ask yourself this question. When are you going to start taking things seriously and remove yourself from the business? All right. So I think we're about to that point where we got to take a quick break. But when we come back, actually, before we take a quick break, I want to remind you that we'll be at the GIE Northeast Hardscape Expo in October. I don't even know the dates because I should have written it down, but here coming up in just like a month. And Surf's Up Radio is going to have a booth. I'll be there. There's a free concert. Go to heritagelandscapesuppligroup.com. And at the top banner, you can actually put your information in there and you'll get access to a free concert, food, drinks, everything. Big and Rich are putting on the concert, and Heritage Landscape Supply Group is paying for all of it. So if you're planning on going to the show, well, just go do the free concert and we'll hang out and stuff. So, all right, guys, listen, we're going to take a quick break. And when we come back, we're going to have Greg Matthews with Luxury Illumination on the show. So stick around. We'll be right back.
Are you tired of working dawn to dusk 7 days a week and still struggling? Working hard isn't your issue. What you need to focus on is the business side of your business. That's where Profits Unlimited comes in. With our 42 years of experience in the industry, we have faced the challenges you are going through. We can help you with bidding, contracts, marketing, selling, and much more. Check us out at profitsrus.com. That's profitsareus.com when you are ready to earn what you deserve. And don't forget, tune into Profit Time at 10 to 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Remember, profit is not a dirty word.
Lawn and landscape pros need to keep their competitive edge, and the easiest way to do that is by attending GIE Plus Expo this October 20th through the 22nd. There's only one word to describe the biggest action-packed experience in the outdoor equipment industry. Wow! Over 1,000 indoor exhibits wall-to-wall with innovative products and the latest technology. Talk face-to-face with the engineers that design your favorite equipment. Then step outside and dive into the hands-on demo area where you can drive, dig, and compare equipment to your heart's delight. This year, the wow gets even bigger with the new UTV test track, the hands-on drone zone, and free parking. Free parking! Register now at GIE-Expo.com, and we'll see you in Louisville, Kentucky this October.
Hey everybody, this is Hecubus from the Nightcap. I'm just sitting here relaxing within the vault with my friends and a tasty, tasty pint. You should stop by and listen in sometime. I'm here every Monday through Friday, 8 to 10 p.m. Eastern, live only on Turf's Up Radio. Your industry, your station.
All right. Welcome back to Lighting for Profits, presented by Emory Allen. It's time to welcome our guest of the honor, the guest of the week, and let's see if we can figure this out. Welcome, Mr. Greg Matthews. How you doing, man?
Hello. All good over here in sunny South Florida.
Man, it's good to see you, brother. What's the weather like there? I was just thinking today it's 72 degrees, and it doesn't feel like there's weather. It's not hot or cold. It's just weather.
So it's 300% humidity. And about 87. No, I think it's about 84 out today. Not too bad. But just to get back from, we were in Indiana last week doing maintenance on a property over there, and that was absolutely amazing in the 70s and like 0% humidity.
Yeah, big time. I know. Like you walk out of the door at like 7 a.m. and you're already sweating in Florida. Doesn't matter what time. So I want to. When I guess I met you about a year ago when I started my business, I started reaching out to people that are in the landscape lighting industry. And I would just kind of look at their Facebook profile and be like, oh, yeah, they seem like they're in landscape lighting. And I came across yours and I was like, okay, I got to be best friends with this guy. His profile picture is him with a flamethrower. So what the heck is going on with this flamethrower?
Well, I mean, it's usually what I carry around for my concealed carry permit, in case something happens. Actually, I think I have it on me.
Really?
Oh, yeah, it's right here.
Oh, my gosh.
So, somebody comes by, I don't want around.
Oh, that is awesome. Did you just light some path lights on fire, or are we good?
It's good for heat shrinking. That's sponsored by Lighting Shrink.
Yeah, I'm sure Lighting Shrink definitely. Do they have? Is that for like the bigger connections?
Exactly. No, but that's actually a really cool little short story about why that's cool. Actually, that's an Elon Musk flamethrower, and he owns a company called the Boring Company. And just as a marketing pitch, he created these flamethrowers as kind of a gimmick. And of course, they sold out, and I think they raised millions of dollars from making or selling these little flamethrowers. So by creating a little gimmick like that, they were able to raise revenue for one of his smaller companies very quickly.
That's awesome. I mean, yeah, we could all take a page out of that book. And I mean, what does flamethrowers have to do with boring? Absolutely nothing, but everyone wants a flamethrower.
Exactly.
That's awesome. So let's talk about your career in lighting. All I know is that you do like badass jobs, but how long have you actually been doing lighting and audio?
So technically outdoor lighting started about 7 years ago. I've been into indoor audio more of my life. I've kind of a random background. I'm a Microsoft certified systems engineer. I used to own an IT company, an AV company. I was a professional photographer for a while. I've been in National Geographic. I'm a big tree dork, so I've done bonsai trees for many years. So it's kind of a culmination of different random things that came together. And then I had some friends who were in construction. A good friend of mine, actually, I hired him out of the Marine Corps years and years ago. And then he moved on and got into construction, and we're still good friends. And one day he said, hey, I need some landscape lighting on one of these houses I'm building. Let's start a company. So that was how I got into it. And then and when I get into something, I just obsess, compulse, all of those words. And I consider nobody my competition except myself. And I don't mean that in a bad way. I just mean I try to challenge myself all the time and, push myself to the limits each time, even though it's not needed sometimes. So we started with that. And he was actually my business partner to start with for a couple of years. And then he let me buy him out. So I've owned the company myself for about 4 or 5 years now.
Man, I bet he's regretting that.
No, because he's a friend of mine. He builds a lot of very nice homes. We still light all of his homes.
Oh, nice.
And then we light all the other good builders' homes as well. So it's worked out for everybody.
That's very cool. One of the time I've got, my free Facebook group, Landscape Lighting Mastermind. And one time I posted in there and I was like, hey, would you guys rather sell one $10,000 job or 5 $2,000 jobs? And I can't remember exactly what you said, but I think you said one $40,000 job or maybe $100,000 job.
I don't know. So I don't know. I don't want to go over annuals too much, but I would say that our probably smallest job this year is about $12,000. And our usual average, I would say, is between 60 and 80 now. It was 60 not too long ago, but I think it's about 60 to 80,000 per average.
That's incredible. I mean, that is just incredible. So are you, I guess, what is your, like, how do you get in front of these people that are willing to spend on average? And I know you've done some way bigger jobs than 80 grand. That those $12,000 jobs that you did pulled down that average a little bit.
Yeah.
But what are you doing to get in front of people that will spend several $100,000 on landscape lighting?
So it's a good saying that it's good to a good saying to go by is it's not who you know, but it's who knows you. And if you're known for the right reasons and your name is passed around and your reputation is good, sometimes it's just as simple as that. You get in the right circles. So we would deal with the best contractors. We deal with the best landscape architects. We deal with the best AV companies. We deal with the best landscapers. And some people get referral fees, and some of the best companies don't take any referral fees at all. Some of them just want their reputation to be better. So for instance, some of these landscape architects that refer us projects, we'll go and photograph the property for them and they put on their website, and that's their payment that they want. We may do something at their home, but we're not giving out commissions to some of these people. It's just what they want to do for their client. And we had talked about, I think it was last week or the week before, I think it was the week before the Wednesday, but a good example is that I would talk to you about this, and we were talking, I said, hey, we closed $350,000 deals on the same day. And my numbers were a little bit off, so I printed out. So one was 170K, one was 173K, and then one was 153K. And one of those was a client who we had already lit a home for. He just texted me, said, hey, I bought a new house. Can you light it for me? The second one was a referral from a landscape architect. And the third one was one from a contractor. So it came 3 different routes that particular day. The one that was 173K, I'm actually disappointed in because our original proposal was 250K. And I had to knock it down 70K for now, which drives me nuts.
Well, that was my only question was going to be why 173? Why not get it to 200? Why not get it to 250? I mean, it seems like you're kind of slacking here.
I know. But so, and you always asked, are you a designer or a salesperson? I will stick by, I'm a designer. So we research the heck out of every product. I know ins and out of every single light we're going to spec. We customize the install per installation. We're not going to have 2 or 3 different types of fixtures. Sometimes we may have 13 to 17 to 20 different types of fixtures. Whatever's needed for that project, we're putting in quality stuff that's not going to give them a heartache or a headache in the future. That's why that one client called me back years after we did his first house to do a second home. And by the way, that first house was probably a $2.5 million house. It was nice in Wellington. Second house, when I looked it up, he just spent $35 million on it. So he had some good business success. So you want your clients, rather than kind of getting in and out or giving them a subpar product or underselling a project, which is like the worst thing in my mind. You want to make it how you would want to be there if you live there. And another good thing to put in your head is don't spend your own money. Some people are thinking, oh my gosh, $173,000. But for somebody who spent $35 million on a house, that's not that much money to them. And then to underlight.
I'm glad you said that because honestly, it's like if someone's living in when you do the math on it, I don't even know what the math works into. It literally would be like you spending $170 or $1,700 or something like that on a lighting system if you lived in like a $500,000 or $1 million house. I mean, it's crazy when you look at it that way.
We have some clients that make, based on their Forbes numbers and all that, that make millions of dollars per hour. And that's like a different mindset. We have one of those we're going to start designing. But again, I'm not going to sell that person more lights because they're worth more. I'm going to sell them more lights because their property, needs it. We've been to some $100 million houses and they have 5 trees. And you can't do much on that kind of property. But we are very good at going to say $1.5 million, $2 million house and doing a $60,000 to $80,000 install. Where our competitor, we have one landscape lighting company around here. It's a joke. It's been around about 20 years. And one way I get people to choose us over them is I send them to their website to look at their work, and then they choose us. But the last 3 projects that we competed against them on, we were in around 40, 45K, and they came in around 10K, and we won all 3 of those projects. So it's based on design, procedures. What we'll do is go to a property, we'll drone the properties, we'll do a full fixture placement plan. We have our own icons. We actually print our own portfolio books on old school paper. So it's a lot better to touch and feel. And we have different lighting examples. We can walk the client through this on what fixture we're going to use to create that particular, look in their yard.
So I want to pull up this picture. You actually have a couple pictures here. Is it, let me see here. See if we can figure this out. All right. All right. Can you see that full screen?
Yep, that looks good.
Okay, sweet. So when you say drone, this is obviously after the fact, but you'll do a drone to help with the sales presentation. But I guess walk me through what this property here, how many lights and what's going on.
So the driveway goes on to the right about 1,000 feet or so. It's a long driveway. So it's only some of the lights, but to crop it. So we were talking about Michael Jordan earlier. This is probably 4 houses down from his house. And there's about 500 fixtures here on this property so far. And fixtures is a tricky number because you can have, tiny fixtures to large fixtures. So doing it just by fixture count is one way to justify a job, but there's a lot of variables when you do that. So we do a lot of downlighting. I would say, usually about half or more is downlighting, depending on the trees. So you'll see a lot of the uplights here in this drone picture, and then a lot of them are shooting down as well. And this drone image wouldn't be used for a sales process. It's more just to show the actual fixture count. We'll do nice, pretty pictures as well.
Yeah, it looks good, man. Let me close this one and open up this one.
But go back to that other one. I'll show you something real quick. It's just something cool. So if you look, see that little blue line on the top of the house? Go to the left a little bit.
This one?
Yeah, right there. Yeah, so that's actually a rooftop swimming pool with an acrylic bottom that you can look up into from the club room. And then the back pool is actually about 600 feet from end to end. So that'll give you some scale. That black rectangle right there is the outdoor kitchen inside the pool and the fire pit inside the pool.
Yeah,
Yep.
right there. Yeah, I mean, it's a nice starter home.
Yeah,
That's incredible, man. That's just incredible. What do we have here?
All right, so this is one of my favorite clients. So this is where we just returned from in Indiana. And he lets me drive his Ferrari when we go up there. And every night we walk the property, we sip tequila and talk about how we're going to change lights and upgrade them and move them. But so this is about, what did I do the math on this? I think we're at about 450 fixtures here. The client owns 10 acres, and we've lit the first 7. And the last 3, they're currently building the father's house on, and then we'll light that one. And that one will probably have another 200 as well to tie it all in together. It'll be a different type of home. But I just thought that was cool. And this also shows the different types of fixtures. Those fixtures in the back there are actually called modulus, and they take 3 MR16s per fixture. So the price point on those is probably about 3 times the standard MR16.
Wow. Very cool. Let's see. I'm going to stop sharing just for a second. And then I want to share this. We got a comment here from Shoop. Can you read that?
Oh, yeah, he can bring it if he wants to, but he's going to go home crying.
That's what I like. By the way, Shoop, we do have a birthday present for you. It might get flagged later. I can play this stuff on the radio, but YouTube and Facebook doesn't like me very much. But let's see what we can do for Shoop here. Shoop do, shoop do. All right. So,
Yeah, we had to do a shout out for his birthday.
yeah, happy birthday, Shoop. Well, so what we're going to do is I got to take a quick break. And then when we come back, I do want to ask you about outdoor audio because I've got another picture I want to share that shows some more of that stuff and ask you about your showroom and stuff like that. So if I could figure out where the controls are, then that's what we'll do. We'll take a quick break, come on back, and keep this thing going. Sound good?
Sounds good to me.
All right. You guys stick around. We'll be right back with Greg Matthews of Luxury Illumination.
There's more to landscape lighting than just throwing a fixture under a tree. The best display is one that was not only designed well, but also stands the test of time. High-quality fixtures and bulbs are key to long-term success and customer happiness. At Emery Allen, our focus is on creating only the highest performance landscape bulbs in the industry, with long-lasting components that don't degrade or flicker with age. Each bulb's appearance is always consistent throughout your lighting project. We offer a wide range of base types, beam spreads, and color choices that will fit your needs. To learn more, give us a call at 843-480-4473 or email us at info@emeryallen.com.
Isn't it nice when the weather cooperates and crews complete jobs on time and on budget? But weather can cause delays, and with paper route sheets, jobs get lost in the shuffle. That's why you need Aspire Crew Control scheduling software, an easy-to-use, flexible, and affordable solution that allows you to shift schedules with a single click. Try Aspire Crew Control for free at aspirecrewcontrol.com.
Hey, this is Jeff Hesser, senior contributor and co-host of the Weekend Review here on Turfs Up Radio. Can't make it to major green industry events, but want to stay connected? Don't worry, we have you covered. Be sure to download the Turfs Up Radio app or visit our website. We'll bring you the live coverage you need to keep you up to date with everything that happens in our industry. And to find out where we'll be next, simply visit greenindustryevents.com. That's greenindustryevents.com. And always remember, Turfs Up Radio, your industry, your station.
All right. Welcome back to Lighting for Profits, presented by Emery Allen here on Turfs Up Radio. We are joined with Greg Matthews, and we are talking just custom lighting jobs. This is no cookie cutter stuff. And Greg, I mean, thanks for sharing your knowledge, your experiences, and stuff like that. I think you're going to give a lot of guys in the industry some confidence and just to show them kind of what's possible, because most of us have these limited beliefs and these kind of smaller mindsets, and it's because we tend to spend with our own wallets, and we're like, man, I wouldn't spend 20,000, I wouldn't spend 50,000. But I think it's really cool what you're doing. I think it's awesome that you're willing to share your experiences and your knowledge with us. So thanks for being here, man.
Thanks for coming here. I come here for the commercials only. So
right. So let's do this. I'm going to figure out how to get the screen back on, and I want to ask you about audio. That does not look right. So how much audio do you end up doing? Are you doing audio on every single job? Do you lead with lighting and then bring in the audio? Do you lead with audio? Like, tell us a little bit about that.
So I'm a big audiophile dork. I mean, I'm a big, really into sound. I have a Macintosh Sonos Faber system at home. I got the record player, I'll call it in, layman's terms and all that stuff. So I'm really into audio. That's how I diffuse kind of it on the weekends. And in the showroom here for indoor audio, we're going to have a $100,000 indoor 2-channel system that you can come listen to. But we do a lot of outdoor audio. It's not on every lighting project, and not every audio system has lighting either. So it really depends on how we're getting that client. For instance, if we're working with an AV company, most of them, we have different agreements set up with them, but I wouldn't want to step on their toes and install audio. Well, that's one of the things that they would install. But maybe we'd help them run the wires, and they could do the sale of the audio while we're running the wires anyways in the yard. So that's another way to help out them, because most AV guys do not want to be digging trenches in a yard. This particular project is actually out in Texas, Paul. So moving into your territory too. I was kidding.
Uh-oh.
It's a little ways away. This is in Nacogdoches, Texas, which nobody's heard of, but it's actually the oldest town in Texas.
I actually know where that is.
Yeah, it's a really cool place. My favorite steakhouse in the country. So this is for the back patio audio system. So this is over $100,000 worth of outdoor audio that's going on a 20,000 square foot back patio. And
either these speakers here are really tall or you're really short. Like, are you 3 feet tall and these are just a regular speaker, or are these something special?
so they're a full range speaker and has an 8-inch bandpass subwoofer, and you'll see a grill towards the middle. So these actually get buried about 60% in the ground, and then it'll use the ground as a reverberation box. So when you bury them, it actually helps them sound better. And you're going to have about 24 inches sticking out, but then you put it behind a bush and you don't see it at all. And those 3 large pieces in front of it are actually subwoofers. Those are 14-inch subwoofers. So those are buried about 90%. So they look like little mushrooms. So you put flowers around it and you won't even see them. So this same project is actually one of our largest lighting projects also. We have about 1,200 fixtures here so far. And it's just been around the home. The actual property is 300 acres, but we've only lit around the exterior of the home and a little bit further out. So this, we actually work with another company out in Texas. He's a good friend of ours now. And we've helped them do the design, the sales, the installation, everything with this project. And they actually maintain it now for us out there.
Nice.
But,
I was going to ask you that. When you do these remote jobs, do you hire someone to maintain it for you, or how do you end up doing that?
well, like I said, we just got back from Indiana, and a lot of clients will fly us back to their property every year or twice a year. And it's always better when we do it. Sometimes I'll have staff or a house manager that can kind of help with polishing or just checking, or if they have a basic problem, we kind of walk them through it. But we like going out there, backing out the tree lights, readjusting, walking at night, re-aiming, adding more wire if we need to, checking voltage drops, if anything's been nicked, and looking for places to add lights all the time. Even I don't care how wealthy the person is, there's almost always a budget, even though I've never asked it. So after they see the actual impact of a proper lighting job and they see how well it looks, by them spending more initially, you're able to add on more in the future more easily, if that makes sense. Because rather than kind of doing it half here and half there and not getting the full effect, they're really wowed by it.
Yeah. So when you go do, I guess, walk me through your sales process when you're there. Do you lead with like, hey, here's everything, and you break it up like, here's the front of home exterior, or do you give them an all-in price, or how do you break it up?
Yeah. So when I meet a client, we'll show a portfolio book. We'll walk them through it. I can answer, 15 big questions by showing them pictures of different products and how they look. I can figure out color temperature. I can figure out if they want it softly lit, if they want it bright. I can figure out if they like tiki torches or not. I can figure out if they like path lights or not. And all this is from showing them 30, 40 pictures. And you may not even be asking them, but you'll see the responses to their face. So I'm kind of doing an interview without them knowing it. And it's for their own good that the final product is proper. So after that, we'll go drone the property. We'll walk the property. We'll talk about, focal points, what's important to them, security, all that kind of fun stuff. And then I always do a 2-visit proposal for a large job, because something like that can't be designed in an hour or two. So we'll take it back to the shop. We'll do the drone imagery. I actually have one to do tomorrow, and then meet with them again Thursday that I met with Monday. But then we'll go back, meet with the client with a full printout on paper. We'll take then the fixtures at the second meeting, because now I know what fixtures are going to be used. And then that'll correlate to whatever the fixture icons are, and everything makes more sense to them. If the budget's too much, I ask them where we start removing. We figure out what's less important for them, but there should be a proper design done, in my opinion, on every home. Because if you're judging a client by the car he pulled up in or something else, you don't know how important that is to them or their wife. And if you ask them a budget, they're going to give you the last budget they spent on landscape lighting, which, again, we had one of those clients that had spent $10,000 with the other company on a previous home, and they got a $10,000 quote on the new home, and then we gave them a $42,000, and they went with us because they saw the value and they saw how much better it was. And they told us of all the issues they had with the other stuff the other guy had installed.
Yeah, well said. So when you go back for that second meeting, because now you actually know what they want, what they like, and what they need, are you trying to close that deal with the budget that you came up with?
Yeah, so we're then, if the budget's too high, or a lot of the times even it's not really budget, it's getting over that's too many lights. How often do you hear that if you design it properly? So then we'll go back to portfolio book, and I'll show them say an eyesight image of a composition. And that's the other reason we'll take those drone pictures. So I'll show them an image of, say, a backyard, a little section of it. And I'll say, do you like how this looks? Yeah, it's beautiful. And then I'll show them how many fixtures were used to create that exact image. And that kind of helps ease them into it more. And they'll explain why more fixtures are better. And same with speakers. The more speakers you have, the better, because the less loud you have to play them. People are overwhelmed by, I don't need 2, 4, 6, whatever speakers. And I'm like, well, do you want to have to crank up 2 speakers to play it across the whole yard? No, you don't. So, and the same thing with lighting. Do you want to have a floodlight in your yard lighting up a whole big tree and make it obnoxious to the neighbors? No, you don't. Let's use 6, 8 lights on that one tree, and let's make that a focal point. So we'll adjust it to whatever they need to do. And yeah, we try to close it on the second one, but I try not to pressure too much either. We try to be classy as well, but we do try to close on the second one. Cool. We have a really high close rate because they see that, we're doing it and, for the right reasons.
How often do you go to that second meeting and you go, let's just throw out some numbers. Let's say it's $100,000. And again, it's not the money, but it's the lights, right? Let's say, I don't know how many lights that is, but let's say it's 250 lights. And they're like, man, that seems like a lot of lights. And they're just pretty adamant. How often do you end up just talking them into keeping the 250 lights versus, you know what, which, like you said, where do you want to take out lights and get it down to 175 lights and then come back and add those later? Like, what's the...
I'd say we do the whole job at 80%. I'd say we close at that. I mean, we'll really push that. And it's not for the money. It's to get it done right. I mean, if you're going to add stuff later, if you're talking about a job with a couple hundred, a few hundred lights, you're talking about re-engineering things. You're talking about maybe rewiring things. It's not like you're going to go back and, and even, so if I'm going to do less lights, I'm also going to use a higher wattage on those lights. So I don't want to go back and relamp all those lights, if that makes sense. So if I'm using one light on a fixture on a tree, I might use a 9 watt or something, for instance. But if I use 2 lights, it might be 2 6 watters. So by going back and adding more is really not the best situation for everybody. I'd rather take a section off, or, we kind of figure it out from there. And as far as drop-ins, I'd say of our fixtures, we're probably 90% drop-in. And integrateds are usually more like the smaller lights and, things like that. But I like having a lamp in there.
Yeah. So I like what you were saying about that, because it's not just a matter of like, well, we'll shave off these lights and then you can add them later, because no, it actually, now we have to re-engineer the whole thing, redesign the whole thing based on the fact that you just want to have less lights.
Yes.
Yeah, I like that. That's probably effective in convincing them to just move forward and do it the right way.
Yeah. And again, we show pictures like this is what it looks like. That's one thing I do want to focus on more. I mean, there's always ways of improving everybody's performance, but I would like to take the same composition and light it 3 different ways and have the same images together. We do have one that shows up lighting and down lighting and combined lighting all in one tree where they're off and on. It's a really good variable to show people about down lighting. So imagery is invaluable.
Yeah. If you want 1 light, it's going to look like this. You want 2, you want 3. That's a good idea.
Yeah. So this is, I would say, for every landscape lighting person, everybody doing visual jobs, go buy a camera.
What camera do you have?
This is not a camera. It's a very good camera. I know it's actually a Note 10 Plus. It's one of the best cameras you can get on a phone. But so this is a Canon 5D Mark III, and then this is it's an L series 11 to 24 millimeter lens. So this rig would probably cost, I don't know what they are nowadays, but it's like an $8,000 to $10,000 setup. But it would instantly, if you go and photograph your jobs, it will make you close more jobs. So you need to learn how to do that. I'm actually doing a photography class at the ILI in Houston. Was it October? International Landscape Lighting Institute. I'm one of the mentors there. But we're doing a talk on photography. But you need to learn photography.
Do you think they should learn it and do it themselves, or find a good photographer and hire them?
I would learn it and do it myself, because mostly access. Sometimes you have one opportunity to photograph a yard.
Yeah.
And even if you have a good relationship with a client, and it depends, like when they're moving in, I've had to photograph properties in 15 minutes just because somebody's moving in or it's changing or we don't have access to the property again or something else. So scheduling can become an issue. And then if you're hiring a photographer, his style may be different than yours. He may take pictures of things that you're like, why do you take a picture of? You know, when you have a certain composition in your head. And then again, doing photography yourself helps you become a better lighting person. So now, like, I think of compositions when I see anything. Like, I don't know how, you don't want to get in my head. It's weird. But yeah, so when I'm looking at compositions all throughout a yard, and that's through photography. So now I can go back and photograph those compositions, how I thought of it in my head. You know, I know to eliminate certain things or to include certain things or go wider or tighter. Plus, you can spend more time there also if you are doing it yourself. Maybe you want to spend 4 hours photographing a property, getting different angles.
How much of that photography aspect is the actual editing after editing that photo afterward?
So I'm a little weird on that too. So if I spend more than 45 seconds to a minute editing a picture, I photographed it wrong. So I do I'd say 90% of my editing in the actual camera raw, which is you photograph in raw files always. A full frame censored camera is always better than a crop sensor. 2 things to look up if you're going to get a camera. But most of your editing can be done in the raw if you photographed it properly. And yeah, again, if you're editing for hours and hours or 30 minutes a picture, then learn to photograph better.
Right. Okay.
And plus, it's not going to look like how, you know, I want my photograph to look how it looked when I saw it. You know, I'm not trying to make it look better, because if you're doing that, make your lighting better. You know, so you need to figure out what you need to make better if you're having a hard time editing it.
Yeah, great point. Darren says, love his virtual background. So let's talk about your showroom.
Oh, look, it's actually 3D. Watch this. Hold on.
Yeah, it's the most 3D virtual background you've ever seen. Where'd you go?
So yeah, this is our showroom so far.
I can't hear you as well.
Sorry, come back.
So let's talk about your showroom. Why you have the showroom, how you're going to use it. I know it's still kind of a work in progress, but yeah, tell us about it.
Yeah, so this is an old. We bought this commercial space the end of last year. And it's basically 2 bays like this. So one serves as our showroom and one serves as our warehouse. And then we have offices up front. We have lofts upstairs. So this is going to be basically a speakeasy style showroom where epic events will happen, is what I'll call it now. So it's actually called the Experience Center is what we're calling it. Over here, and what I'm looking at, so we have 2 art TVs that are both 75 inches. The one I'm looking at right now to do this is where we actually do our conferences on. So we'll be able to pull up entire, you know, diagrams and layouts for clients. I'm building a pergola to go above me here to hang from the ceiling. On the back wall behind us, we have a 26-foot by 13-foot mural that was hand painted by an artist friend of ours. It took him about 6 weeks to do that. And those are different trees that we picked out. We did the full composition. The big palm tree in the back is actually in my backyard. So we did that. And we have all different sorts of lighting here. So we have ceiling rails where we can mount lighting to. Behind us, actually, let me turn the camera around for this. It's pretty cool. Yeah, this is our linear light wall.
Oh yeah, I like that. That thing is badass. And what's the size of that TV?
75.
75 inch. It doesn't look that big on this camera, but that's a big wall.
Yeah, so that has 3 different kinds of linear light. We got 2700 Kelvin, 3000 Kelvin, and a static blue. And then we have a kitchen over here for events where we have the color changing linear light. So you could bring a client in here and actually show them every single type of linear light. I brought one in here and he picked out what Kelvin he was. He was unsure of what he wanted to do. Came in here for 2 minutes and he figured it out.
Very cool.
So, and we have a full Crestron system in here. So we're gonna have 30 zones of lighting at least in the showroom. And when a client walks in, the showroom will be entirely black, dark. So when you press a button, music will start playing and the different light scenes will start coming on to the music automatically. So say within 45 seconds to a minute, you'll be able to get an idea of a lot of things.
That's killer. That's awesome. One question is, how big is your company? How many employees?
So we're a small company. So we got about 8 employees over here. I have my cousin over in Denver, and we have 3 vehicles here. So not that big. It's really focused on efficiency, getting things done, hiring good employees. We actually built, some of my guys, we actually built this Pathlight display stand today. So they built that. They did the carpentry. We stained it. One of my guys that works for me did actually the tiles in here and everything. So we have guys that are very good at hardscaping, cutting, grout, installing wood, doing all that kind of fun stuff. And we party a lot. We hang out. We have a lot of fun. We go out to the craziest places for dinner, and the guys are happy to come to work most of the time. Well, nobody's happy to come to work all the time. So we try to keep a good employee mentality, and I think that's part of it. We don't want the guy bringing down everybody else. I'm also not hiring the guys outside of Home Depot to come and work with them either.
Yeah, no, it's cool. I mean, I follow you on Facebook. It seems like you're always doing fun stuff with your employees. I mean, your wife threw you a private party with a band and everything in your backyard. So it seems like you guys know how to have a good time down there.
So, and I will use this moment. So January will be the grand opening of this place. And I still got to finish quite a few things, but it's January. So that same band will be back behind here. We're going to have a full bar open. So anybody wants to come, let me know, send me a message.
Right.
All the usual guys know me, but I want to see how many guys from around the country we can get here. And then it'll be Florida in January. So fishing charter boats are open, make it a nice vacation.
All right. That sounds good, man. We'll make an event out of that for sure. Before we wrap up, we're pretty much out of time. We got to take another break. But before we do wrap up with you, what advice would you give to people that are just struggling? I mean, there's a lot of people that get into the industry, they get stuck. They get to their 500,000, even 1 million, whatever it is. They get stuck, 300,000 in sales. Like, what advice would you give them to help them get to the next level?
Think outside the box. So what are you doing, and what differently could you do? Maybe it's a new contact. Maybe it's doing something for somebody. Maybe it's, again, changing your portfolio book. Maybe it's changing the amount that you have in your head, because you shouldn't have an amount in your head on how much you're going to sell a client. Look at new products all the time. Make sure you're excited about what you're doing. A client can immediately tell if you're there to sell them something or if you're excited to light their yard. And if you're coming to my house, don't try to sell me lighting, because you've already ticked me off. That's anything. So, if you're trying to live the dream and have fun doing it, but, do it right.
Awesome.
And don't screw people over. There's a lot of people that do that. Don't screw people over. Don't be the a-hole. It's easy advice.
That's awesome, man. Well, listen, I really appreciate you taking time out of your day to do this. And you dropped a lot of really good insights. And I'm sure a lot of people are going to be super inspired by it. So thanks again for being here. And yeah, man, we'll talk to you on the next one, I guess.
Sounds good. I got to go aim some lights, so this works out.
All right, perfect. All right, guys. Well, yeah, we just had a flamethrower. We got a showroom. We've got photography. We talked about a lot of different stuff, but I'm going to take one final break. And then when I come back, I'm going to share my final, my lighting tip of the week with you. So stick around. Be right back in just a couple minutes.
Are you a military family with a spouse on deployment away from home? Did you know that nonprofit Project Evergreen has thousands of volunteers across the country ready to help military families with lawn, landscape, and snow removal services? We call it Green Care and Snow Care for troops. If you are a military family and would like to receive this free service, or if you'd like to volunteer to help, visit projectevergreen.org. Project Evergreen, creating a greener, healthier, cooler Earth, 1 yard at a time.
Hey everybody, it's Brooke Ford, host of The Green Veteran here on Turf's Up Radio. Be sure to check me out every Saturday morning at 11 a.m. Eastern.
You're going to hear some great one-on-one interviews with green industry professionals. We're going to talk about best business practices, highlight innovative products, and also provide some insight into some new emerging technologies in the field. That's the Green Veteran, airing each Saturday at 11 a.m. Eastern. And remember, Turfs Up Radio, your industry, your station.
Attention all pros. When you leave a deal with your clients, don't leave money on the table. Join Turfs Up Nation today and partner with pros all across the country who can help you make more money for your services that are related to your project. Landscapers need plumbers, and pool installers need hardscapers, and every combination in between. Turfs Up Nation is free. Your information is secure, and you'll be connected with other pros in the industry who want to do business with you. And not to mention property owners who need help with everything. If you think your clients don't need you and the connections you have, think again. Join TurfsUpNation.com today and start putting more money in your pocket for services you never knew you could. Just remember to sign up for this free service. Go to TurfsUpNation.com.
All right, welcome back to Lighting for Profits, presented by Emery Allen. Wow, guys. I mean, I don't know. This is called Lighting for Profits, so that guy was teaching us how to make some profits. My biggest job was just a little under 200 grand, so he's got something figured out, that's for sure. Don't get discouraged if you're not selling those big jobs right off the bat, because it doesn't happen for everyone every day, but do take some inspiration from that and know that we're usually shooting ourselves in the foot. We're usually not setting the bar high enough. So go put it out there that you're going to go get a $50,000 job, that you're going to get a $100,000 job, a $200,000 job, a $500,000 job. Like, it is possible. And Greg Matthews is living proof of that. So, and by the way, yeah, we had someone in my group just share the other day. They got their first $100,000 job, and their previous best was $30,000. And they just closed a $100,000 job. So congrats to you. Before we finish up, I just want to close with my lighting tip of the week, which I was just thinking about this week, so I decided to share it with you, is teach your installers that it's okay to upsell. Okay. And I know sales is a dirty word, profits, all that, but it's not supposed to be. Teach them it's okay to upsell on the day of the install. In my experience, what can happen is clients will be afraid to spend the money because they might think that you're selling them. And one line that you can teach your installers is, as they get to know the customers on the day of the install, is say, hey, is there a reason we're not putting some lights on these trees? Or is there a reason we're not putting lights over here? And it's a great way to upsell, because usually what happens is they'll say, well, actually, Ryan, tried to put lights there, but we told him no. We were trying to be cheap. We were trying to save money. But do you guys think we should put them there? And they'd say, well, yeah, I can't imagine us not putting them. We always put lights on these trees, these types of trees, or we always put lights in this part of the yard. And so they tend to, when they're in that moment of sales, they tend to restrict a little, and their budget gets a little bit tighter. But after the fact, after they trust you, after you're there on site, you're impressing them, it's a lot easier to add lights. So whether it's you or your technicians, it's just teach them to upsell, because they don't look at them as salespeople. They look at them as technicians. And so they figure, well, these guys know what they're doing. If they think we need lights here, we might as well add them. And so you can even pay your technicians a commission for lights that they add, right? For lights that they upsell. And then kind of along the same lines of that, I want to encourage you to help get more 5-star reviews for your business. It's important to get 5-star reviews, because even if you're 100% referral right now and you're not doing advertising, I promise you this: if someone is referred to you, and sometimes they'll just call you directly, but a lot of times they'll Google you and they want to kind of research you and see what your website looks like, which is another reason to have good photography, right? But you want to have good 5-star reviews. If you don't have any 5-star reviews, or maybe you just only have a handful, or you don't have very good reviews, chances are that you're missing out on leads that you don't even know about right now. And so one way to build those 5-star reviews is give your employees incentive. I would pay my guys $50 for every 5-star review that their name was mentioned in, right? And so when they know that, it gives them some incentive to impress the client, and not be lazy and messing around on the job site and take care of the yard and and really kind of get to know the client a little bit, do a walkthrough before they leave, make sure they know their name. And it gets them to care a little bit more. So that's my lighting tip of the week. Teach your technicians to upsell and to get those 5-star reviews. So unfortunately, we are out of time, guys. So this show always goes by super fast. But I want to thank you guys for your support. Thank you for showing up. I want to thank Greg Matthews of Luxury Illumination for being my guest today. I want to thank Emery Allen for their partnership with us here on Turf Stop Radio, here on Lighting for Profits. And I want to thank you guys for being here. So you guys have a great week. Go start to work on your business. Go do this and start getting yourself to the next level. I promise you, your future self will thank you. So go out there and get it, guys. Have a great week. We'll talk to you later.